Good morning, everybody. We're going to kind of wait a little bit longer before I really start diving into the video properly, the Q&A portion. Let's give everybody a couple more minutes. We're at 3 minutes until 10 a.m. here on the eastern portion of the United States. How's everybody doing this morning? Looks like we got 7 people in here at the moment. How's everybody feeling this morning? Good, I hope. So obviously today we're going to be taking questions and comments from some of the videos of this past week. Videos such as my Surface Duo 6-month review, the Surface Duo versus Z Fold 2 camera shootout video. Good morning, Michael. And if there's any interest, we'll talk about the possible improvements to the Duo's camera switching around thing from that video as well. But I anticipate most of the interest will probably be either the 6-month review or regarding this lovely guy here. 6 p.m. in Russia. All right. Well, hello, other Michael from Knoxville, Tennessee. Have you heard of Knoxville, Tennessee? How much knowledge of this area is there in Russia? Because I got to tell you something. I don't know a lot about Russia. I know a little bit. You know. I know about that Tunguska event. That's pretty wild. Good morning, Ola and Jesse. Got about 2 minutes here, a little less than 2 minutes. So one of the things that I always do first in these videos is I like to go and check out the comments first from YouTube members, so people that were kind enough to click that join button, and excuse me, and I'll look at their comments first just because they're members. So I guess we can start off doing exactly that. So this is the member comments from the last week. So we'll get these out of the way. First and foremost, so got a couple of comments early on here from Miss Sandra Payne, one of my most consistent commenters, who I always enjoy reading their comments. They're always thoughtful, intelligent, good questions. I talked about on the podcast, I talked about how a lot of people complain about the screen, the external screen on the Z Fold 2. They're like, oh, that screen's too narrow and it's useless. Good morning, Ed. From Houston. All right. You guys got some weather going on over there right now. A little bit north of you, I believe. People talk about how skinny and narrow that screen is and like, oh, that's useless and all that stuff. And I just thought it was funny because a lot of people then also ask for an external screen on the Duo. And I thought, well, why would you want an external screen on the Duo and still think this is useless? It seems to be a little inconsistent. So Sandra said, she said she doesn't really have any desire for an external screen on the Duo. And I really don't either. But an always-on display would be great because she said she just leaves her Duo in phone mode all the time. And I get that because it just makes it easier to access. And it's strange to me that there isn't an always-on display. If you could just keep your Duo like this and have something, like that on there, you don't need an external screen, do you? You'd be fine. You'd be fine without it. And I wholeheartedly agree. And that's something they could easily fix with software. And I don't think that they're going to, but they could. Okay, so this is on my 6-month review video. She basically says her experience hasn't been as bad as mine after the February update, but she has noticed more issues. And a lot of people I've had commenting saying that, yeah, they've been... What's up, Chuck? How's it going, man? More issues after the February update than they had before. I don't seem to be... Excuse me. Just had breakfast, so, excuse me. A lot of people having issues more. She talks about back screen turning on phone mode is worse. Camera flipping around is much worse. Wallpaper vanishing again. Going unresponsive. Stuff like that. It's exactly the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, and it is exceedingly frustrating. Sander said, too many flaws to stay as daily driver. Missed taking great pictures and something happened that I wanted to capture. USB port cracked as well. And the glass back is not glued well off the border, and I get dust in there. That's these are the experiences that I see a lot of. And then this is about the beta launcher maybe fixing the flipping around camera. She said that she stopped using the beta because it had too many issues. And then just like I was having, going back and forth between the beta and the stable, and you lose your whole layout, and that was super annoying. So, and I agree, there needs to be a backup feature there. So that is my member comments out of the way. So what we're gonna do now is let's start with the 6-month review. Michael Hoover, have you thought to factory reset the device to make sure the bit's downloaded correctly? I factory reset it. What day was that? I can tell you because I tweeted about it. I tweeted a picture of the phone and said, hope this helps, or something to that extent. I did that on March the 9th. So that's been 4 days today. I mean, it didn't make any difference for me. Nothing really changed. I don't know that I've had the issue I was having where the keyboard wasn't popping up, but I've also not used it nearly as much because I got this guy in shortly after. So I've been going back and forth a bit, but I don't want to say like, oh, that fixed the keyboard thing, because I just don't think it's been long enough for me to be able to say that. But yeah, I did factory reset it. So when I made this 6-month review, I had some concern because I felt like I was going to be a bit more negative than I have been in the past. And, you know, not to say that I'd ever like ignored the problems of Duo, because I don't think that's accurate. I think I've always been fairly honest about the problems, but they'd gotten worse for me, and I wasn't going to lie about that. But when I'm filming this, what's going on? I'm assuming that's Riley. While I'm making this review, I'm filming it and I'm thinking about it and I'm ruminating on what I'm going to say. I'm thinking, man, I really hope, because what I don't want in the comments is people, you know, being like assholes to me, basically, because that's annoying, you know. But I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, you know. I know that a lot of people are passionate about the Duo, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm just gonna ignore the problems I've had and not tell you about them. No, I've had an experience and I'm going to tell you that experience. That's what my review is for. If you had a different experience, then great. I'm not saying that my experience is the only experience that can be had. I'm just saying this is my experience. So I want to address quickly one of the first comments that I got. Your fan base is Duo users. I'm worn down by your negativity. My Duo works well. All right. How can I say this as nicely as I can? I don't care. Is that nice? I don't care. I don't care what my fan base is. I don't think of it as, that is a weird phrasing. Ed, yeah, I don't. Ed said, his wife walks in, why does this guy hate your phone? I don't hate the phone. I don't. I'm just being realistic. This is my experience. If I hated it, I would have sold it or something. I don't hate it. I really like it, actually. And if you like something, you should be critical of it. It's stupid to say, oh, I like this thing, so I can't criticize it. That's insane. If you like it, you should want it to get better, and it can't get better unless you criticize it. How is that not reasonable? That just seems completely logical to me. Anyways, if you feel like I'm just being overly negative, you know, and that bothers you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that bothers you. And I'm happy that your Duo works well. But here's the thing. When someone says to me, my Duo works well, I don't know what that means, because I'm giving you specific specific problems. I'm showing them to you. Here's my keyboard not launching. Here's my phone not responding to touch. I'm being explicitly, objectively specific. So when someone says my Duo works fine, I don't know what you mean by that, because you may be okay with those glitches that I'm not okay with. So a review would not be me saying my Duo is bad. That would be a bad review. But instead, me giving you specific examples, that's the point. That's what I'm doing. And then you can decide, well, okay, what's the risk of me having these issues? Are these issues I might experience? And now that I've seen them and I'm aware of them, do I care about those issues? And you can decide that for yourself. But if I lie to you and don't tell you that I'm having these problems, I'm useless to you at that point. I'm not helping you at all. I'm helping no one. So if you think I'm being negative, don't be mad at me. Be mad at Microsoft, because they're the ones that are making me be negative. I'm just being honest. Good morning from Puerto Rico. My husband has the Fold 2 and I consider it extremely heavy. The multitasking vibe not there. Had the Duo for a while, but the problems were so frustrating. So I'll get to both of those. Z Fold 2 is a brick. It is heavy as crap. As for the multitasking vibe not being there, I don't know. I will say that I find myself multitasking less on the Z Fold than I did on the Duo. But I think a lot of the times I had 2 apps open on Duo just because I could. It was just so easy. Like I wasn't really like gaining anything by having done that, but I just was, because it was there. It was super easy to do. But, I'll give you a good example. I've got pinned here 2 different radar apps that I use because I'm a weather nerd. And I like being able to do that. It's not as good at multitasking as the Duo. I'm not going to tell you that it is. I've got a video coming out here in a few days that will explicitly dive into pluses and minuses there. It's not as good as the Duo at multitasking. It's better than the Duo at virtually everything else. But yeah, it's definitely not as good at multitasking. Ed, there is zero chance that there is a Duo with 0 issues. I agree. It seems to me that these problems are too widespread. And I think that there are people that are saying my Duo is fine. And the reality is that they're having a similar experience to me, but they're more able to ignore the problems that I am less able to ignore, either because I've had my Duo longer or because our what we care about, our values are different. But again, I'm not here to review my values. I'm here to give you the objective facts as best I can. How hard was it to stop multitasking on your phone? I'm just going to pull this away and answer some of the chat questions. I mean, it really hasn't bothered me, because what I'm realizing is that on the Duo, like I said, I just was opening 2 apps at a time all the time just because I could. Like if I had Twitter open and I wanted to open Instagram, instead of closing Twitter and then opening Instagram, I was just leaving Twitter open. That didn't necessarily mean that I was still using Twitter. Maybe I'd scroll and then I'd scroll, but like it wasn't something that I was like actively like needing to do. When I was like, oh, now I need 2 apps side by side, the Fold can approximate that experience. So I would say that when I multitask on the Fold, it's because I needed to. When I multitasked on the Duo, it's just, I always did because I could. Which one's better, which one's worse in that way? Hard for me to say, I guess. Chuck, my Duo is not fine, but the pros are better than the bugs. Absolutely. And that is, that is the decision that everyone has to make is, here are the problems and here's what it's great at. And it's like I said the other day on the podcast, it's like you've got that scale and you're dropping stones onto the scale and you're like, Duo and Fold, and you're like, all right, multitasking, drop the stone on the Fold because it's a bit better. But then you're like, okay, camera, drop the stone on the Fold because the Fold's a bit better. I hope I said that right. The Duo is better. You know what I'm saying? So you have to weigh this out, whether or not I said that at all correctly. You have to weigh these things out, and your values are what is going to matter. Gosh, I've looked at his videos multiple times, and for the life of me, I'll hear him say his name, and I'm like, okay, remember it this time. And then I come back, then it's gone. It's gone every time. My Surface Duo is damn near flawless, have some minor bugs, but nothing so annoying that it will stop me from recommending it to anybody. And some people are, and again, this is, I'm trying to be as objective as I can, but ultimately, there's a limit to how objective you can be when you're talking about something like this. You know what I mean? So, never take me complaining about problems as me saying you can't love your Duo. Like, that's not what I'm saying at all. At all. All right. Picture in picture. Livio said, maybe it's worth resetting the Duo, which I did do. And then they talked about using the buttons instead of the gesture navigation. And that may help with some of my problems. But I really prefer gesture navigation. I don't like the buttons. I'm used to it. I'm whether it's my tablet, my phone, whatever, it all has the same navigation, and I prefer that. Chuck, I use big screen YouTube all the time. It's the ultimate YouTube device. I never have to pick YouTube over anything. I can always have it. Yeah, absolutely. And it's awesome for that. It's awesome for, tint mode. Tint mode is badass. I wish the speakers were better. But tint mode's really good. I will say this though. Let me just pick a random video here. Go to my subscriptions. I'll just play the live stream. It'll look really weird. But let's say I want to do Twitter and YouTube. Well, I can do that. And I can rotate this around like that. And I mean, you can still do this. And I've got the comments down here, and I've got the video, and I've got Twitter on the other side. You can still do it. Now, that being said, maybe you'll do it this way, and then you want to flip it around like this so that you've got a bigger video there. I'm not even showing you this. I'm off screen. But you can do it. It's, would I say it's as good as it is on the Duo in that sense? No, it's probably not. And again, that's kind of been the point. The multitasking is better on Duo, but you have to weigh these things out. What you care about most. Let's see here. We'll get to that later. That's a comment about the launcher fixing things. What smartwatch can you suggest for Duo? I'm using a Fitbit Versa 3. Works great. My charging port did crack completely off. It broke. I probably can't show you this, but I've shown you in pictures on Twitter. It piece of plastic broke off. Is what it is. Not really worried about it. Rita, I've noticed less bugs and I'm using a different launcher. Microsoft Launcher has been annoying since day one. I've heard that from people too. And I need to try Launcher 10 again. I need to give it another shot. Brett Thomas, hate to say it, love to do it, but it's a failure. Fully understand the love-hate relationship with this device. I struggle with software company releasing a device this poor. It's a strong opinion. I don't know that I'd go as far as to say that it's a failure, but I get where he's coming from. I can see land from where I float at sea, so to speak. I don't know that I'd go quite that far as to call it a failure, though, because a lot of people do really like it. It's hard to quantify what I think Duo is. Chuck, texting while watching. Let's see. Ditch the stream. Makes you. Okay. Texting while watching you now. Oh, no, do it. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's super useful. And one of the coolest things about Duo's multitasking that is better than on the Fold is that when you've got YouTube on one screen, let me kill the picture in picture again. If you've got your YouTube playing on one screen and a text message on the other, and you touch your text bubble to type, the keyboard only pops up here. So nothing changes over here. On the Fold, the keyboard will go across the entire device, thereby occluding or moving some things on the other half of the screen. So that's a huge difference and an advantage that the Fold has. Let's see here. Yeah, see, these are more people echoing the problem with the camera flipping around a lot. Which I mentioned in the review. Let's see here. I hate that Microsoft's attitude towards a polished UI hasn't changed, sad to say, but it seems to mirror Windows mobile experience at launch. 6 months in, it seems like Duo has been abandoned, and Microsoft has proven the skeptics right. Good work with the 6-month update. I don't think they've abandoned Duo. I really genuinely don't. I think that their attention is elsewhere. I think that their attention is on other things. Hopefully it's on Android 11, which is insane that it's still not here. But I think their attention is elsewhere. I'm more and more worried as time goes by that Duo will be forgotten about in exchange for Zeta. I still think Duo will get updates. Will they be at the same time as Zeta? I don't know. But it is beginning to feel that way. Let's see here. Bought the Duo 3 days ago at a steep discount. I'm torn between returning it or not. Maybe they'll announce a new one in less than 3 months. It's possible. I mean, we're expecting... Oh, that's my calendar. We're expecting Zeta by September. And I mean, it's March. So who knows? Would you consider keeping this phone if I paid $1,100 for it? Man, that's hard to answer. That's hard to answer. Because it really depends so much on what your values are. That's why it's so difficult to talk about this phone sometimes. Because it's like, if you just said to me, hey, there's this phone that doesn't have wireless charging, doesn't have NFC, has a really bad camera, has a ton of software glitches. Sometimes it's unresponsive. The keyboard sometimes doesn't pop up. The camera does all sorts of weird things that make it almost impossible to use. Should I keep that? Oh, by the way, it was $1,400. I'd be like, no, why would you ever buy that? That sounds terrible. But then it's like, oh, but it's got 2 screens and you can do 2 things at once. Well, then that matters. What matters then is how much do you need that? How much do you value that? If you value that more than all the things I just said, then keep it, enjoy it, love it. But that's the only way. You have to value that much more than all of those other things. Let's see here. Michael, this is weird that on the same hardware, people get different problems. I mean, yeah, I agree. And that's something that is very strange to me. Let me see if I can find a tweet here. Let me scroll through here because this is something that I tweeted at Daniel Rubino. Can I find this? Here we go. And this is something that kind of maybe irritated me a little bit. Rubino tweeted, hate to use the seems faster thing, but the recent betas seem to have greatly enhanced the smoothness of gesture and animations on Duo. And I actually agree. It is smoother when it's working. The problem is sometimes it doesn't do anything. When it is working, it feels good. I responded. That's the word, right? I responded, what's strange is how varied the experiences are with Duo. Mine has been acting insane post-February update. Blah, 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 blah. He said, mine hasn't been reset since October. No issues here, and it's my primary. But yeah, I've heard wildly varying experiences. Okay. Somebody responded to that and said, couldn't we say this with almost any device that comes out? Dan, experiences and issues vary all the time. Yes, this is true. Experiences vary from person to person. But it matters how much and in what way, right? The Ford Pinto could explode if you ran into the back of it. Oh, well, people have different experiences. Like, no. Like, it matters what the experiences are and what kind they are. You can't just write this stuff off and say, like, oh, well, stuff varies sometimes. I'm not saying that the Duo explodes. That was a over-the-top analogy, but you get my point. I'm keeping mine. Chuck says I'm keeping mine until I find out about Pixel Fold. I'm very intrigued about Pixel Fold. Is there any way to customize the Fold to act like a Surface Duo? There's no way to make the software essentially act as if it's 2 screens, as far as I'm aware. No, it's always going to basically act like a Samsung tablet that can fold up and fit in your pocket. Is there a new Blackberry? It is coming. Can't think of the company, but they're based out of Texas. Something mobile, but they're making a new Blackberry device. Steven, watching on my Duo. Steven, hope you're still enjoying Duo round 2. Onward mobility. There you go. I was close. Mobile was in the word. All right, let's keep rolling here. That was a weird comment. Duo camera flips nicely. Okay, I'm on the wrong video. Okay, let's keep going. Thank you, Ghost Ship Inc. Best video of watching your channel so far. I love how honest you are despite your love for the device. That's my point. That is what I'm trying to do. I'm an early adopter, willing to deal with the quirks and inconsistent behavior. I'm not sure if there's going to be anything else worth digging into on this video, and we've already gone 27 minutes. So we're going to switch over to the Z Fold video, because there's probably more you guys want to know about that as well. Les, Duo has some serious flaws, but nothing fits my workflow better. Yeah, absolutely. I get it. When it went, like I've said a million times, when it's working, it's magic. It's phenomenal. Steven cannot deny the random bugs. You just have to kind of live with them, unfortunately. All right, so let's talk about the Z Fold 2 versus Surface Duo camera shootout. So Brett Skinner said, seriously, we know what has the better camera. So let me very briefly dig into this real quick. Yes, we all know that the Z Fold 2 has a better camera than the Surface Duo. I am aware that we're all aware of that. But here's the thing, and you may see this comment sort of rephrased here in a minute from me. For whatever reason, a ton of people that own one of these two devices either own the other one as well or are interested in the other one. There is a Venn diagram that overlaps somewhere between these two devices, and I do not quite know where it is, but it is somewhere. There is some overlap because it's way too common. And so there are people that are looking on YouTube for this information. And if all I've heard is Duo camera bad, Fold camera better, and I'm looking to buy one of these two, I'm going to say, cool, cool, cool. I don't know what that means. I need to see something. Show me what you mean. Show me the pictures from one and then the other. Zoom in on them and show me exactly what you mean. Because you say that the Duo's camera is bad. Well, maybe I'll look at it and maybe I'll think it's passable. Maybe I'll be fine with it. Maybe I won't care all that much. That's why I do these videos. It's not enough to say Duo camera bad, Fold camera better. You need to show people to what extent and what you mean by bad. Bad is a terrible adjective. It doesn't mean anything because it's so subjective. What does bad mean? So I'm showing you exactly what I mean when I say these things. So now you know. Now you can actually decide. I actually think Duo's fine. Or, oh man, you're right. That low light's really bad. It's way better on the Fold. I know. I see what you mean now. Now you can make your own informed decision. That's what I'm doing. Good video. In a few months, I'll need a new phone, new computer. I only use my computer for editing videos. I can do everything else on my phone, but I prefer to work on a desktop when I'm editing. It's ridiculous to buy a computer just to edit videos. I wonder, can you do this with DeX? Well, guess what is coming in just a few short days? I shot a vlog, and then I plugged my Z Fold into my computer, loaded up DeX, and I edited that video, and I filmed myself doing all of this. So late next week, I'll have a video up of here's me shooting the vlog, here's me editing the vlog, and all of this taking place on the Z Fold 2 via DeX. And it worked like pretty well. Pretty damn well, actually. It's pretty impressed with it. So that's a pretty cool video that I hope you guys will enjoy. Mike V, thanks for your videos. Very helpful. You are very welcome. I'm pleased that so many people have watched them. I think it may be RAM causing the glitches. Check your RAM usage next time it does. I'll look. My average RAM usage is pretty low, but I'll look. I mean, anything's possible. It could be, who knows? I mean, maybe Duo is, like, the keyboard's not launching. But man, the keyboard should take like a half a second to load, So even if it's like kicking the keyboard out of RAM and having to reload it, how long should that take? Can you make a video review on everything that's possible in DeX? I'll be exploring DeX a lot more because that's a pretty cool thing. Michael, I'm looking to upgrade. Don't know which way to go, Duo or Z Fold. Well, I'm going to have about 1 billion videos over the next 2 weeks of comparing the two. On Tuesday, we'll have the productivity multitasking video, and then Thursday will be the shooting a video editing on DeX. Excuse me. Those waffles are just giving me some trouble. Jim Reed, I have both and use them for different things. The Z Fold is definitely a better camera, but the Duo Gorilla Glass screen is more practical for business use, and the Surface Pen is much better than being careful with the Fold screen. However, I like them both for different reasons. yeah, there's definitely a case to be made about different use cases. I'm not super worried about the screen on the Fold for two reasons. One, it's got a screen protector on it. Also, we've seen videos from people like Mr. Mobile, you know, a year later on the first Fold, and his screen was fine. It's also closed, so the only time that it's really in any kind of jeopardy is when it's open, and it's not open all that often. It's open, and when I'm done, I close it, so it's protected. So I'm not that worried. But if you need a stylus, you need a pen, buy the Duo, because the Z Fold can't do that. Z Fold 3 will have S Pen support, but until then, that's really your only option. Livia, this is actually a great point. The issue is not so much the different camera image sensors as it is the actual lens. The Samsung optics are letting in far more light as they are a much larger lens. Their images are sharper. This is 100% true, and you can understand this relatively quickly. If you look at the camera on the Duo, which will this focus don't unlock. That's a teeny tiny itty bitty little camera lens. And then you look at the one on the Fold, focus, it's a whole hell of a lot bigger. That does matter a lot. More light equals a better picture. Also, the sensor in the Duo is trash. So it is a bit of both. It is definitely a bit of both. It's probably a very small sensor in the Duo, physically small. Johnny Irish, it's not surprising, is it? I think everyone who buys the Duo already knows that there are better cameras out there. I have addressed this. You're right, but it matters how much. Wayne, wow, the Z Fold 2 is an absolutely hideous looking device. I'd rather carry a separate point and shoot camera around with me than being seen using that thing in public. You guys can read my comment there. But I also want to ask you guys, do you think that the Z Fold is that ugly? I kind of think it looks nice. I like the way it looks. It's a fingerprint magnet. But like, I think it looks pretty cool. I didn't look at this thing and go, ugh. What an ugly piece of crap that is. Like, I thought it looked reasonably good. Let's see here. Yeah. I'd love to know what you guys think. If the Duo is, I mean, I think the Duo is a beautiful device, but I don't think that the Fold is that ugly. Also, who cares? Saw the thumbnail and said, well, duh, and comment on your video, you know. Yeah. But again, degrees matter. And I do wish that it did fold flat. Although, with this case, it fills in the gap. So it might as well, you know. Who knows? No one will even notice now. But yeah, I do wish it folded flat as well. Let's see, what comments am I missing here? Niagara Launcher is becoming my favorite. I like Niagara Launcher actually quite a bit. I tried to use it on my Fold for a little bit too. It is pretty cool. Don't take a lot of pictures on my phone, Ed says, but it finally hit me how subpar the Duo camera is when I had a hard copy picture printed from sitting on my desk. Yeah, they look okay on the screen. Like, put them on your computer, blow them up, and you're like, oh my God, it's over sharpened and grainy, and the bigger it gets, the worse it looks. Les, Waffles, I thought you were a pancake guy. If you're gonna start covering waffles, then I'm out of here. I mean, I eat these, what brand are they? They got like a bear. There's like a bear on the logo. Protein and stuff in them, apparently. And they're like chocolate waffles. Put a little bit of peanut butter between them. It's a good way to start your morning, I'm telling you. Michael, I don't know, for me, it's too thick and too narrow. It is a thick, he's a thick boy. Let's actually do this. Let's get a good comparison here. Because it's it's a little ridiculous. It's a little ridiculous. It's a thick phone. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that it's not. But here's the thing though. Check this out. Because this way, right? Okay. Watch this. Nothing in my pockets right now. Fold in the pocket. Duo in the pocket, right? Okay. You can't really see this. Okay, there you go. Look how big that is, right? Turn this way, you can see it. I mean, you know, to me, this is heavier, but it might be more pocketable than the Duo because the Duo is so wide. I forget this is in my pocket more easily than I did the Duo. So take that for what it's worth. Look, I mean, Les, I like pancakes too, you know. Don't worry, I like pancakes, but you know, waffles are good. You know, you can get the peanut butter into the little squares there. Carlos, if Samsung and Google baked in the ability to natively force two halves of the screen to behave as if they were two separate panels, the Surface Duo would cease to exist. I freaking love that idea. If there was a button you could hit that created in software two separate screens on the Z Fold, like it does on Duo, man, that would be badass. That would be really, really cool. I wish that happened. How's the minimum focal distance on the Fold? It's relatively close. Can I demonstrate this here? I'll see if I can show. I mean, I'm about there, and it's focusing. It's good. I like this Duo primarily for pen experience. Yeah, and if you need a pen, buy the Duo. The Fold can't do that. Michelle, I own both and use them differently. Multitasking in business has to go to the Duo, but photography and using the device to call has to go to the Z Fold 2. I enjoy watching YouTube on the Duo in tent mode. Absolutely. The Z Fold is too heavy for my female hands, plus late night, I always fall asleep and I don't want to drop it. Yeah, if you're like laying in bed and you drop this thing on you, it's going to hurt. It's a heavy phone. I totally understand those criticisms. Those are totally reasonable. Alan, very helpful, although we all know the Surface Duo camera can't compete with the Z Fold 2. It's helpful to see how big the difference is. Look at you, Alan. Look at you. Ed, and then there's Ed. It's fun to see you excited about a device again. A good video. It is fun to be excited about a device. And I hope that more updates come to the Duo, and I become progressively more excited about it as well. Do we need to talk about the launcher update? Any effect it had on the camera switching? Is there enough there? Chuck, someone needs to gift Shane standing saying, look how big that is. I mean, you know, Kodiak cakes. That's it. Yes. You are correct. That is what they are. That is what they are. I've been trying to find a way to transmit audio from HomePods to decks, trying to get HomeKit. No luck. I have not tried. I do not own a HomePod. I don't own any Apple products at all, actually. Nope, not a single Apple product in my house. I had an iPod Touch one time when I was a wee child. Have you guys tried the beta of the launcher and seen if the camera is flippy flopping any better for you? It's an ad for Popeyes. Because I've not really messed with it. So I'm on the correct screen now. Let's try and rotate it around. We've got 3 there, 4. I mean, I've switched to video somehow and all that too. I don't know. I mean, I'm glad it's working. Look at, I mean, come on. Like, why? Like, okay, I don't know. It's not working for me. It's not working for me at all. Let's see here. Have you considered to check out the M1 MacBook? No. It seems like I thought about that for a long time to just say no. I am highly intrigued by the M1 MacBook. I'm highly intrigued by ARM processing, but if I'm going to get an ARM processing device, it'll probably be a Surface Pro X. I just don't like Mac OS. It's not, I don't know. It's just not for me. Not for me. Although my older sister is a professional photographer and edits on Mac for obvious reasons. And when she upgrades her MacBook, I will encourage her to buy one so that I can look at it. I will do that. Let's see here. I have been using Fold first for about 9 months. Switched to the Duo 4 months ago. I'm not going back. Cool. That's interesting. Do you find the ability to use 2 things at once to be that big of a deal for you? Do you use the keyboard that comes with the Z Fold or a different one? I switched to Gboard. I generally do switch to Gboard on most things. The Samsung keyboard was okay, but it just looked weird to me. So I have switched to good old Gboard, and I don't actually use the split keyboard either, because like I don't have big hands at all. But like I can totally reach all the way across the middle line like that. It's fine. If I'm rotated this way, that would be hard to type, but I don't really type that way. So yeah, Gboard is good. I wish I could just use Gboard on the Duo, but like when I'm in my text messages, the keyboard will cover up the text field and I can't see what I'm typing. I have no idea if I'm typing typos or not. That's super annoying. Am I the only one on earth that uses Surface Duo as an entertainment center? I loved using the Duo as a YouTube viewer. Like if I was cooking or whatever, I'd set it like this on the kitchen counter and play a YouTube video, and it worked really well for that. I do wish the speakers were louder, but it worked well for that. And actually, the Z Fold is a much better multimedia device because the speakers are ridiculous on this thing. They're insane. But I need like a kickstand or something on the back of it. Like I might get one of those that stick on the back and make like a kickstand, because right now, like you have to prop it up on something, and that's no fun. Or you can set it in laptop mode and have like, let me show you exactly what I mean here. You can open up a YouTube video and you can rotate it, right? And you can go boop, and now it's in laptop mode. You can set it up like that, and that works. But it's little now, you know? It's little, and I like it better when it's big, because that's better. I want it to be like that. Let's see, what else do we have here? Close that back down. I wonder if it's too hard to add a button to manually flip screens. Dude, if there was an option to disable gyroscope controls in the camera and just put a button in there, if there was an option to disable the gyro controls in phone mode and just have a toggle in the notification shade, where if you wanted to switch screens, you would just swipe down and hit a button and it would switch screens. Like, I would just use that, and that would solve so many of my problems with the Duo. I don't know why that's not an option. For taking notes, S Note is way better than OneNote. That's why I can't wait for a Fold with a pen. Ultimate productivity. I need to play with S Notes a bit more, because I've been using OneNote for a good while, and I liked that it would sync between my Duo, between my Surface Pro 7, my computer. So I need to check out S Notes as well. Samsung's note-taking application, because I'm sure it's good. I just haven't really messed with it. Let's see here. I guess we've covered the launcher beta thing. It hasn't done anything for me, unfortunately. As I've shown you. You saw me try. It wasn't working. What else we got? Do you have the U1 model or the carrier version? Which one? It's the unlocked one. I bought it directly through Samsung, and I got this for free with it. This is a Galaxy Tab S7, and I got that for free for buying it, which is pretty cool. Pretty good little tablet. You can have a S Note sync with OneNote, so it's on other devices. Okay, all right. I'll look into that then. That might be a really cool mid-step. So yeah, they were giving, they did this for like a couple of days. If you bought the Z Fold, they'd give you this $650 tablet for free. So I was like, I don't need a tablet, but you know, whatever, might as well. So we got that for free. It's a good tablet, 120 hertz refresh rate screen. It's super solid. Let's see here. Yes, sir. Remember I said that months ago. I'll take your word for it, man. I try to remember everything. There's a lot of comments. I'm sure you did, though. Thank you. Oh yeah. Now you know what? Now that I think about it, yeah, I totally remember that now. What else we got? Any questions pertaining to Z Fold 2, Surface Duo, comparison, anything like that at all? We're at 46 minutes now. What do we got? S Notes is limited to OneNote. I need to try out. I need to look at the DS notes. Did I disable it? It's possible that I didn't even leave it enabled. I do that a lot. If there's something I'm not going to use, I disable it. So I may have. I think I did. Well, I'll enable it then. I'll bring it back and I'll check it out. What else? What else? What else? Hey, look. 32 people in here. Come on. Let's see. That riffle between the two parts of the fold drives me mad more than Duo's hinge. I don't know why. Maybe that Duo has two screens and that's it. Samsung pretends like it has one big screen. Yeah, so that's a good question or comment. So in video with a light on it, you can really see that hinge, that crease, maybe be a better way to put it. And yes, you can feel it. You can feel it right there. There's a little dip. And your mileage may vary here, right? And I'm not saying that you're wrong for being bothered by it, but I was shocked at how quickly I no longer cared. It took minutes before I stopped seeing it. And when you're looking at the thing straight on, there's a light there, so you're going to see it. But when you're looking at it straight on, you don't see the crease. And your hand, your finger very rarely is swiping across the middle of the screen. It doesn't bother me. Maybe it will bother you more, but I really don't care. I don't care nearly as much as I thought I would. Let's see here. Does Z Fold have pin support? Z Fold 1 and 2 do not have pin support. Z Fold 3 should have pin support. Several patents seem to back this up as well. But yes, S Pen support will almost certainly be on the next Z Fold. It's not that it's seen, but it's felt by the finger. Yeah, and I mean, that may... Is my stream dropping out here? On my control panel here, my stream is acting funny. Are we still here? YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Let's see here. What's going on? Is the stream acting weird for you guys? Because it's doing some weird stuff for me here. Let's see here. Well, if you guys can still hear me, hopefully it's coming through properly. I'm getting an error from YouTube, but OBS says everything is absolutely perfect, so I'm not sure which one to believe. I am not bothered by dragging across the crease. You know, like I said, your mileage may vary. It may be something that you're bothered by. It may give you problems, but that's going to be something you're going to have to experience. Maybe go to Best Buy and try going across it. For me, it just doesn't bother me. I guess I can understand why you might be bothered by it, but it seems totally fine to me. Looks like it's settled back down. I'm not getting the arrow anymore, or the error anymore. So hopefully we're straightened back out here now. Let's refresh and make sure YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Well, I think it's fixed itself, whatever was going on. Ed, thanks for stopping by. I've used a Z Fold twice and I've returned it twice. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. So you guys are actually that bothered by feeling the crease there. That's interesting. That is interesting. Because it really doesn't bother me that much. Or at all, really. But I mean, fair enough. If you're bothered by it, you're bothered by it. All right, well, I keep getting these errors, and I don't know exactly what's going on because my OBS is showing stream health quality is good. I'm running it over 3,000 kilobits a second. Everything looks fine.